Welcome back to Western New York, where Pickles the cat is enjoying the sun. And I am enjoying the sun too, in the woods and all around.
Greetings, wild riders. Last week when we met, I talked with you from the side of our vernal pool. I wanted you to be able to have a view of it in the context of its woods. You can see that's where I'll be sitting in a moment. But so this is a big woods. And the vernal pool for spring pool will be here for just a little while.
We will return to our vernal pool sit spot each week. Sometimes I will write with you here, and sometimes I will write here with different grades. All of us will notice changes in this vernal pool, this system, over time. If you have not chosen a sit spot for yourself, you might think about doing so. And now, let's think together about writing.
Welcome to a windy day in the woods here at my home, where I am thinking about nature journaling. I loved getting to see the slideshow from Sheldrake and thinking about all of the different things one can put in a nature journal, and then having the opportunity to see Jocelyn write in her nature journal, and I could almost smell that onion grass right through my computer screen. Right now, some of you might be able to hear the creaking of a big tree behind me. It's been creaking the whole time I've been sitting here writing in my nature journal, and I'd like to tell you about what I did today and invite you to try it yourself. So I have this book I love called The Private Eye by Carrie Roof. I've been reading this book and some other books about nature journaling, one by John Muir Laws, in which he says that writing in a nature journal can help us be better observers, it can help us be more curious, and writing in a nature journal can also help us be more creative. And so working on powers of observation, curiosity, and creativity, I can't think of anything more fun than that. So I've been enjoying sitting out here, and what I drew in my nature journal was two sketches. One was a zoomed out sketch of what I see that in that direction, and then another one was a zoomed in sketch, almost like I pulled my camera in close to part of this tree right here. So I want to show it to you. I'll read you a little bit about some of the notes I wrote around the edges, and then I'll hold it up so you can see, and then I'll share with you the writing that I did inspired by the drawing that I did today, the sketching, the nature sketching. So my paper's divided. I divided mine top and bottom. I could have chosen to do two separate sheets or divided this way. This, of course, is my choice or your choice as a nature journalist to think, how do I want my page to look? And I really enjoy the playing around with space on a page. In this book, another thing we think about a lot is that things in nature can remind us of other things. So as we look closely and draw and write, I'm asking myself always, what senses am I using and what else in the world does this remind me of? So in my pulled back sketch where I'm writing about what's in front of me, I wrote, I can see some pointy rust colored buds, a large tree here that has gray brownish bark. I did write a tree behind me is creaking. Leaves in a far off tree there are holding on and shivering. They look like golden butterflies to me. And so I wrote that down because what something reminds me of sometimes might be a note in the sketch of my nature journal. And then below, I did a close-up of a piece of this little tree. And I wrote, this is to my left, and I sketched new bud. I said they remind me of dancers, these hanging on leaves. They're delicate but very strong. Again, there's a grayish-brown trunk. And I wrote, these golden quivering leaves are so strong. How do they stay through a winter of snow? So let me hold up my page so you can see the far away sketch and then the close-up sketch and how I wrote some words around that. And it took me a while to do this work, and I loved doing it. It didn't feel like work. It felt like art. It felt like meditation. It felt like being part of the woods. I keep thinking an animal might rush out because I've been so quiet here until now. So then I looked at what I drew, and I tried something that John Muir Laws suggested, and that is to jot down the question words: who, what, when, where, how, and why. And we think of these as if we were writing a news article, but I'm thinking of them now, as he suggests, in terms of thinking of the characters or the players in nature here. And I chose one to write about, and I decided to write about these leaves because you can tell I was very interested in them in the far beyond sketch and then also in my close-up. So I wrote who, these leaves, are they birch, beech, light gold and quivery? What, they keep hanging on to the trees. When, April 14th, today, after winter, they have been there a year. Where, all around this forest, they're the only ones still hanging on. How, I don't know how they do it. Why, is there a purpose for these leaves to remain? So I just used these who, what, where, when, why, how to help me think. And then I chose from here what I wanted to write more about. This did help me. This little tiny bit of note taking helped me write all this below. I'll read it to you. These shivery, quivery, paper-thin leaves are holding on even on such a windy day. Whenever I walk in these woods, I wonder about this. Why don't they let go? We have had so much snow and so much wind, and yet they are still here. They remind me of a child's drawing that gets hung on the refrigerator and somehow stays there for years and years. Why that picture? Why those leaves? It feels mysterious to me, and while I can find out if I'm correct if they're beech or birch, I'm more interested in the bigger why. Why don't they, why won't they let go? What could need a few delicate leaves? They're like parchment paper sticky notes bearing a message. We are fleeting, we are beautiful. Right beside these dried up old leaves are the reddish tender buds for this year's leaves to come. The old is beautiful, and so is the new, and they live side by side, each one reminding me that young becomes old, and old was once young. Sometimes on a busy day, I can forget such things, and nature, as always, speaks the truth. I enjoy hearing the rustle of old leaves and this creaky tree behind me. It feels like it's trying to tell me something. I wish I could speak tree. If I could, I would ask about these quivery, golden, hangy-on-y leaves. And if you look, I am quite close to you here, so you can see that little bud there, and here are those quiver. Well, I encourage you to enjoy your nature journal. You might go to the place you went before or a new place. And if you wish, you might choose to sketch a large zoomed out drawing of wherever you are and then a close-up. Or you might choose to focus more on one. I did enjoy doing this. It helped me decide what I wanted to really zoom in on. And then experiment with these question words. Who, what, when, where, how, why, and see what in there tickles your brain and makes you want to write more and ask more questions, because through our observations, we become more curious, right? When we're still, we listen, we look, we become more curious. And through our curiosity, we can become more creative. So I'm really glad you got to be here and I got to be here with you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Enjoy your nature journal. Remember, this isn't just one page is all we have to write. I can write in this journal again and again. I can write in it over years. I can use it for one season and then begin another one in a new season, or just have a spring journal I write in every year and then a summer journal I write in every year, and pay attention to where I live or where I visit. Nature journaling can become a part of me and is a part of me and can become a part of your life and your family's life. You can all write in the same journal. You can write in journals together or with a friend 6 feet apart. Enjoy the nature, enjoy your journal, and see you soon.
We can also listen to nature. Listen. John Muir Laws teaches us that these 6 questions are just as important for a scientist as they are for a journalist. Who, when, where, what, how, why? Ask these questions in your nature journal and see what arises. And remember, you can write in your nature journal anytime you wish. Nature is a good friend, and keeping a nature journal is a way of getting to know this friend. There really is nothing like drawing and writing in the field, looking, listening, feeling, smelling, paying attention to this great world. See the spring sunlight catching these rocks and leaves? Daffodils are blooming all over the place. And yes, in Western New York, we still have snow in spring. This week, think about how your nature journal might become a part of your life. What will you notice? What will you wonder? Will you find a sit spot? Our natural world is full of gifts, my Mamaroneck friends. There are many reasons to write wild.